Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're gonna be getting into this cute little makeup look right here. I pretty much wear this look on the days where I'm not filming content, but I still want to like look cute and stuff. I still want to look put together. I have like errands to run. I don't want to go out of the house like in my, workout clothes or whatever. The products that I'm going to be using for this look are all of my favorites. These are the products that have never failed me. They all work really well together. I know that if I have to wear them for 6+ hours, it's gonna last. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this look, show you guys my everyday makeup routine. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little notification bell so that we get notified anytime that I make a new upload. So I'm gonna start off priming the skin. I have all of my products to the side right here that I like to use for my everyday routine. So we're just gonna jump right in. I'm gonna first start off by priming using the Mercier Pure Canvas Primer. I like to use the protecting one. So I like to use this primer because it already has sunscreen, so I don't have to worry about like forgetting to put it on. Then I'm gonna go in with some setting powder. I'm using the Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I use this powder a few different times like throughout my routine. So you're gonna see this powder pop up a lot, but this is the honey one. So it has like that yellow tint to it. I'm gonna use this to set the primer that we applied, and I'm also using the Mercier Powder Puff. I promise this video is not sponsored. I just really love their products. Especially when it comes to the skin, like Mercier usually gets it pretty perfect. So I'm just gonna set with a primer. Next, I'm going with some Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. And this is gonna help the makeup just last like 10 times longer throughout the day. It's super hot. It's like 90 degrees out here, baby. So I need to make sure this makeup stays all day. So I'm just gonna spray that on. Let it dry before I go in with my foundation, skin tint, tinted moisturizer, whatever you wanna call it. This is the Huda Beauty Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint. So it's not a tinted moisturizer, it's a skin tint. I still don't know what the difference between a skin tint and a tinted moisturizer is, but if anybody knows, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm using shade number 9, which is also known as Extra Tan. So I mixed it on the back of my hand here, and I'm just gonna punch that in. Well, not punch it, but like tap that on and all over. And I'm not using all of it. That's pretty much like all I'm gonna use. I still have like a ton of it on the back of my hand here. Just probably a waste of product, but gotta make sure that that mixes right. So, and we're just gonna tap that in using a blender. But yeah, I highly recommend the Beauty Bakery sponges if you're looking for a new sponge to use. So I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer. This one is in shade 4.5, and this is a full coverage concealer. So I'm gonna use this on all the little areas where I have like a little dark mark or like bump that's kind of like peeking through. And this is just how I like perfect the skin, so I don't have to use like a full coverage foundation. It's a little bit light. I forgot that I'm like tan right now, so it's a little bit light. I'm going to use the Melt Cosmetics Sculpt Stack. This is their cream sculpting stack, so there's a ton of like cream contours in here that I really like. So I'm gonna go in with shade Warm Blend to Cream Contour, and I'm gonna mix a little bit of the Neutral Blend shade. And to blend in my cream contour, I'm using the Sigma F53 Air Contour / Blush Brush. It's like a dual fiber brush basically. And I'm just gonna dip that into both shades, kind of blend it together on the back of my hand here. And it's just gonna take off any excess product too by tapping it on the hand first. And then we're just gonna add that onto the perimeter of the face, anywhere that I want to add a little bit of extra depth. Cream contour is done. Got a little bit of warmth into the skin, looking good. Now I'm gonna go in with some concealer. I'm using the same Makeup Forever concealer, the Matte Velvet Skin one. I'm just gonna use shade number 4.3. I'm gonna use this underneath the eyes this time. For this particular routine, I don't really go to full coverage with like my foundation. I usually opt for like a lighter coverage foundation, but for concealer, I'll still like go, you know, full coverage with that. I'm okay with concealer being full coverage. It's just like my foundation that I'm just like, nah, bruh. I don't really have much going on today. I'm just gonna go see my mom. My mom has like super thick eyebrows. Like she has like these amazing, thick, luscious eyebrows. And it seems like, nobody knows how to do her eyebrows. So she's like, she asked me to come over and like try and like shape her eyebrows for her, which is really ironic because she was the one that first shaped my eyebrows. Like when I think I was like 13 or 14, I like begged my mom to let me like trim and shape up my eyebrows, and she was like, fine. She finally let me do it, and instead of going to a brow specialist or, you know, someone to like wax my brows, she ended up doing them for me, and she used like a little razor blade to trim them up and everything. And I'm glad that she taught me how to do it, and that's pretty much like how I've been doing my brows since then. Like I've never gone to get my brows waxed. Like no one has ever touched my brows before. Like I have never let anybody touch my brows, and probably never will. Like unless it's like somebody that I just know I have like dying for them to like, you know, shape my brows. I'm probably never gonna let anybody touch my eyebrows, because I guess it's just, I feel like when I started getting into makeup, I heard so many freaking horror stories about people's brows and like how people would go to, you know, get their brows waxed and stuff, and they would just have like no eyebrows afterward. And I remember just like hearing all these stories about, you know, people waxing their brows. It just kind of scared me. So I never ended up trying to get them waxed or like having somebody else touch them. But yeah, so my mom's the one that taught me how to do my brows. I've been doing my brows by myself ever since. And so far it's been, you know, it's been really good. I've never had any issues like with my eyebrows. So yeah, so I don't work out in the mornings anymore. I gave up on morning workouts. I'm working out in the afternoons now. I was just over it. I'm so, to be quite honest, like I'm so freaking over working out in the morning. You know what it is? It's like I enjoy working out in the mornings because when I go to the gym, there's like nobody there. I think that's like the one thing, I think that's the reason why I was like pushing myself so hard to train like in the mornings, is because when I do go to the gym at like super early, there's no one there, and I love it. It's like just me and like maybe 10 other people or something. Going in with some cream blush now. This is from JCat Beauty. This is their Blush Mellow Soft Blusher in shade Sweet Cloud number 9. I'm gonna apply this onto the cheeks with a little blender. I used to apply my cream blush with a brush, but I feel like I appreciate how much better a sponge blends out my cream blush. Next up, I'm gonna go back in with my Mercier powder, and I'm going to use this to set the concealer here. So I'm going to take my powder puff. This powder puff that I'm using, I actually got at the beauty supply store. I love it because it's incredibly soft. This is probably the softest powder puff that I have. So sorry to Mercier, but I actually like this powder puff better. I actually like this powder puff better than the Mercier ones because it's just so much softer. And I just went in with some Artist Couture. This is their multi-use beauty powder in shade Caramel Delight. It's kind of close to my complexion, so I just use that to set everywhere that I didn't set with that Mercier powder. So I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Pro Filter powders next. These are in shades 235 and 255. 235 is slightly lighter than 255. It's like a very, very small difference, but I could tell, so that's the reason why I use them both. But 235, because it's like a little bit lighter, I'm going to place that on the inner part of the under eye. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with 255, which is the darker of the two. Taking the same brush, and I'm gonna place that on the outer portion of the under eye. And then just for reassurance, I'm gonna go back in with my powder brush that I used to apply that Artist Couture Beauty powder and just go over the edges just to really make sure I have a nice transition there and that I didn't take the powder too far out either. I don't like when my powder is like too like out here anymore. I try to keep it very like localized in this space. Next thing that I'm going to do, let's go ahead and bake. Yeah, so I'm going back in with my little Mercier powder, same honey one. We're gonna go in with our powder puff again. I'm using like the edge of the powder puff this time, and I'm going to bake with this. So we're going to snatch the sides of the nose here. And I'm going to dust off the edge very, very gently, just like that, not too much. That's kind of like my goal these days, like when I'm going in with like my skin products and stuff, is just to make sure everything is like as transitioning from light to dark as best as it possibly can be. So I'm gonna go back in with that Fenty powder, and I'm gonna apply that onto the bridge of the nose because y'all already know I don't contour my nose because I suck at it. So I just do a reverse contour, and I'm using a flat brush like that to apply that onto the bridge. I don't want to use too much because I'm gonna go in with more of the Mercier translucent powder. I told you I use this powder a lot. Like this powder, and we're going to bake right on top of that to kind of like reinforce the brightness of the Fenty powder. I'd rather bake this instead of adding more of that Fenty powder because I feel like this just gives like a softer effect versus like trying to highlight completely with a powder foundation. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finish up applying the rest of my powder products. I still have my powder bronzer. I'm gonna use a mixture of the light medium bronzer powder, so that one right there, and the medium dark bronzer powder. I feel like I could use this one by itself, but I just feel like I'm a little bit more tan right now, so I just want to go in with something slightly darker. So I'm going to mix these two shades to kind of get my preferred bronzer shade, and I'm just going to apply that right on top of that cream contour. Not going in too heavy either. I prefer to use a fluffier brush these days for my powder bronzer. Before I would use something more like an angled powder brush or something. Something a little bit more dense, but I feel like just using a fluffier brush just gives me like a smoother blend. Bronzer, like less product in general, and just kind of like, I feel like I'm just trying to like, you know, enhance what I already got, I guess you can say. I don't know. I guess you can say I'm like opting for more like washes of everything versus like trying to contour and stuff or whatever, get like an extreme contour. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just like my personal preference, especially for like an everyday look. I feel like if I were to go more like do like a stronger contour, like a, you know, a little bit more bronzer, it'd probably be for like a special occasion or something, or, you know, where I'm really like glamming the face, like super, like the super beat down. But for today, since we're doing every day, like I try to use like less product and stuff. Again, because it's also super hot outside, like ain't nobody got time for that. So, you know. All right, so now we're gonna go in with some powder. You guys have seen this a gazillion, million, quadrillion times. This is the Bellini blush palette from BH. And I like to just dip my brush into all of the shades. I don't really be using a specific one. I like to like mix those colors together. And because I'm not like so much of like a pink blush person, I like to add the peachy shade on top of that pink blush to, you know, make it more peachy. So now I'm gonna add my little beauty marks. I like to use the Freck Noir freckle makeup, and yeah, I'm just gonna add this on top of like, I like to add this on areas where I have like blemishes. So I have like a little bump right here and one right here. And I actually have a real beauty mark right here. So a couple of places that I put this are actually like real beauty marks that I have, but for the most part, I like to use this step to kind of disguise any type of like blemishes that are just getting on my nerves. So I'm gonna pop that on right there. Let's go ahead and dust off this bake now, because I think we're all done with that. I'm gonna dust off the bake on the sides of the nose, but I'm gonna keep that bake going on the bridge of the nose. And while that's like continuing to bake, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. KBT Beauty Pomade, dark brown. And we're going to fill in the brows. I'm going to brush the hairs up first. I'm just gonna create like little faux brow hairs like on the spots that are kind of like empty. So you can kind of see there's like a gap right there, one right there. The tail kind of needs some work. So those are like the areas that I pretty much focus on. So I'm going back in with that Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer in shade 4.5, and I'm gonna use a tiny bit of this to clean up the bottom of the brow. And I'm also going to apply this onto the lid space to get rid of like these creases here. I might actually go in with a slightly darker shade. I have 5.1 here. I'm telling you, I'm obsessed with this concealer. Like I literally have it in like every single shade. It's so sad. It's just a really good concealer. So I'm gonna go in with 4.5 first and use that to shape underneath the brow. And then I'll go in with 5.1, which is this slightly darker color right over here, just to touch up the lid space. I'm using a darker color on the lid because I feel like it just makes more sense, like color-wise. Like my lid space is darker than my brow bone. So it makes more sense to just kind of like match that than try to, you know, make the lid space all one color. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense, but once I'm finished, it'll make sense. So man, I feel like I've gone through like a journey with my brows, just like thinking about like how they used to look maybe like 5 or 6 years ago to like what they look like right now. I remember I used to do such like an arched brow and it was like all perfect and stuff. You guys remember when everyone was just doing like those super sculpted brows? Like, man, I remember those days. I remember I used to use a black like gel liner on my brows to fill them in. Bad, very bad. Bad. And then I'm gonna go, so now I'm going in with my darker concealer and I'm just gonna place that on the lid. I love this shade too because it's a little bit more on the warmer side. So this kind of adds like a touch of color to the lid space without having to go in with like eyeshadow. Taking some of my MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in Oh Darling, and we are going to highlight right in here. Now I'm going to finish up the eyes. I don't really do too much for my eyes. I pretty much just use a beige eyeliner. So this is the Too Faced Cosmetics Killer Liner in shade Cashmere. And I'm just gonna pop that onto the waterline. Okay, so we have our liner on the waterline. I'm gonna go in with my mascara. I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I never use a waterproof mascara. I don't understand waterproof mascara. I can't do it. I don't know how people do it. I just can't. Like, I mean, I guess I could understand if like, you know, you're gonna cry or something, but yeah, I can't do waterproof mascara. I just can't. It's way too difficult to get off, and I'm not about to be like sitting in front of my mirror scrubbing off mascara off my eyelashes at night. So that's pretty much it. I think the last thing I'm gonna do is just put it on a lip and we're all done. So I'm gonna use the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencils. I'm gonna start off with, let's use Limitless Brown first. Yeah. Wait, no. Which lipstick am I using? Yeah, let's use Limitless Brown first. And we're just gonna line the lips with that. Oh my gosh, I drank way too much coffee this morning. Now I cannot like do a straight line. I'm just like, why am I keep messing up? I had some Cafe Bustelo. If you've tried Cafe Bustelo, then you know that stuff is strong. It's not even coffee, it's an espresso. Like I had like, I think I had like 2 shots of espresso this morning. So my hands are just like, ooh. So I'm gonna go in with some lipstick next. I'm using, what shade do I wanna use today? Okay, we're gonna start off with Power Play from Artist Couture. I love using these type of tube lipsticks instead of liquid lipsticks for everyday because these wear so much better like over time, in my opinion, over like liquid lipsticks. I feel like for me personally, when I wear like a liquid lipstick, it just doesn't wear well. Like when it fades like here, it just, sometimes you can get a weird line like on the inner part of your mouth and it just looks very, it just doesn't look cute after a while. So usually for everyday, I like to go in with tube lipsticks here. It's just to, you know, make sure that over time everything wears really well and I'm not looking like a crazy person at the end of the day. So that was Power Play from Artist Couture that I just applied. I'm gonna go in just a little bit of Boy Toy. This one is slightly lighter, so we're gonna just keep this focus on the center. I'm gonna use the Artist Color Pencil from Makeup Forever in shade Dimensional Dark Brown. I'm just gonna create a really, really thin line on the outer edge of the lips just to give them a little bit of extra contour. That's perfect. See? Barely even, probably can't even see a difference, but it's noticeable to me. So I think that's it, guys. I'm gonna add some setting spray. I'm just gonna go back in with that Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. And so that'll be it for this look. You can go for gloss, you can not go for gloss. For me personally, I prefer to, it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling, honestly. I was gonna say I don't wear gloss, but that's a lie. That's a huge lie, so. But yeah, it pretty much all depends on like how I'm feeling today. I'm just gonna do a matte lip, so we're not gonna do gloss right now. But I'll like keep it in like my makeup bag or like in my purse just in case I change my mind, because I'm an indecisive person. So, you know, later on in the day, I might be like, you know what, let's go ahead and do that gloss that I said I wasn't gonna do earlier this morning. All right, guys, this is the finished look. I went off camera and just touched up my hair and put on a pair of cute little earrings. And yeah, I'm gonna probably put on some fragrance right after this. I'm thinking of using I've been loving the Miss Dior Absolutely Blooming perfume. That's like been my go-to. It's so good. Like, it's perfect for the summer too, since it's like very florally and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna wear that for today for like my perfume. But yeah, this is the routine that I've been following, and yeah, it lasts pretty well throughout the day. I feel like, considering like the temperature and the amount of humidity that we get here, like it holds up pretty well. I still get really like oily on my forehead and my nose, but I'm okay with that. As long as everything else is kind of like still put together at the end of the day, like I'm okay with getting like oily and stuff on my nose. Like, I've come to accept the fact that I just have like an oily T-zone, so you know, it just comes with the territory. But everything else I feel like holds up pretty well. Definitely let me know if you guys have used any of the products that I use in this makeup routine. I love talking makeup with you guys, so if you've tried any of these products, definitely let me know down below in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. But yeah, I'm gonna head out now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.